Christy Campagnone, Senior Managing Counsel with the ACLJ, is joining us. And if you were just watching, which I encourage you all should watch, we do a full television-style broadcast. You can find it on YouTube, on Rumble, on ACLJ.org, and on the Salem News channel. We're there as well. There may be some news coming up for that, coming up in the new year as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But in those breaks, if you're watching on one of the streaming platforms, you got to see a video leading up to how we got involved in this case, Christy. And I think you need to kind of back everybody up a little bit, because it is nice when the ACLJ can put things, to bed, can finish and say, we have completed this assignment. And it has happened. It has happened in a great way. But let's back it up. Give us a brief background on this case and how we got involved.
This will be horrifying for me to read to you, but that will give you perspective on how she must have felt when her teacher required her to memorize this and to act it out in front of her entire class. I don't love you. It's not you. It's just, I don't like your dick, or any dick in that case. I cheated, Joe.
I'm sorry.
This is propaganda.
Forgive me. Excuse me. I don't, thank you so much for your comment. Forgive me. We're not using profanity. Simply, this is a public meeting. I asked for decorum.
If you don't want me to read it to you, what was that like for my 15-year-old daughter to have to memorize?
So as you saw in this clip, we had a 15-year-old minor required to read a monologue in her acting class that it contained explicit sexual material. And, once her parent found out that this happened, she was absolutely appalled and actually went first to the school board meeting, and her microphone was turned off because of the curse words that were used in that explicit material while she was trying to raise the alarm as to what happened to her daughter. So naturally, they went ahead to pursue a lawsuit. And we came in after her local counsel initially started the complaint, and we helped amend the complaint to survive the motion to dismiss. And I think the big, wonderful victory came after we had a hard fight during discovery, which is where we took depositions of all of the administrators of that school. And of course, we're pleased to announce that we were able to get a victory for our client. She received a monetary settlement fund, and she also is going to have teaching and training for the teachers at this school to make sure that this never happens again. And it was all as a result of the depositions where we were able to get admissions from the administrators that this material was absolutely inappropriate and should have never been in the classroom.
And Christy, I think that that's an important part of this as well, is that this is a victory, but our attorneys that have been working for a long time. I mean, the school board meeting where the mother spoke was 2.5 years ago, and we've been telling our audience about it for a very long time as well. But this victory wasn't all of a sudden the school board got a demand letter like sometimes we send, and they're like, or the school administration said, let's fix this. This isn't right. And then it went to the lawsuit phase, and it wasn't like, maybe now they're serious. We'll walk away. But it took our attorneys going out there, and you joined us from Nevada on a broadcast where you had just completed a deposition. You've been doing depositions the day before with our team of attorneys out there. And it took that level of getting to discovery, which many people in many lawsuits try to avoid that phase, even beyond the trial phase, because of how invasive and intense a deposition can be in that discovery process. But that, when we got there and got those depositions, is what finally made this district realize, you know what? We don't need to go to trial. We're on a losing course here. We need to find a way out of this and settle with this client.
Absolutely. So we had the school realizing, okay, we've had at least 3 of our administrators admit to several of the elements that we would have to prove in court, that the material had no pedagogical interest, meaning there was no reason that it should have been found in a classroom. They also found that one of the administrators admitted that even if there had been parental consent, it still should have not had a place in the classroom. So, I mean, we're talking beyond just the books where we require parents to sign permission slips to read. This material did not have an educational interest and should have never been in their schools. So once we have those admissions coming from their administrators, they realized, okay, we're going to not want to fight this in court anymore.
Time in the country where this is what is happening, where you have such a sensitive culture, and it really is a very sensitive culture, but when you actually call these things out, and making kids do this type of material. This is in high school, by the way. I teach a screen acting course in university level, and I have way stricter rules than this. I have wild rules because of the way we are right now. And by the way, I'm all for that. I want everyone to feel comfortable. I'm not going in there and making anyone uncomfortable. This is on a high school level. This is happening. Like, that is wild. And we were able to get in there and stop this. And what I do like about this, and I think our audience needs to know this, Christy, is though you hear settlement, and I think your mind goes to, so for some people, they may go, oh, okay, it's not really a victory, it's a settlement. And a lot of times people think of settlement as something that happens very quickly. It happens when no one wants to go to court. But this was not that process. Went to court, took years of time, took all the effort, the travel, the money that's being spent, the money that has to be raised to then be able to be spent for the ACLJ. Because again, of course, this mother and her family did not pay $1 for our representation and for our work.
I think it's really important for the clients, the fact that it's in their best interest to wrap this up and get justice for their child, but to not have this draw out for years and years and years. And like you've mentioned, we've already been in this for 2 years. And so I think it's a victory for them in that the school paid up. I mean, the school had to pay. There's going to be, training for those teachers. This is getting national attention, and now the spotlight is on this school to make sure that this never happens again. And then I think most importantly, and this is key, is that even when you have a settlement, you still have created precedent so that if this happens to any other student, they can now pull this case and say, look, these are the facts. This is what happened in this case, and the school had to pay. So my child needs to be protected because this was inappropriate, and we have it on the record as precedent in the courts now that the school had to pay for this kind of action.
Yeah, Christy, thank you so much for joining us and going through this because it is a very important time. This is Giving Tuesday. So what that means is that is the biggest charitable giving day of the year for a lot of people. This is the big promotional day. Obviously, a lot of you wait till the end of the year, post-Christmas bonus, that kind of thing happens. But we encourage you right now. It is one of our biggest days of the year. And it historically has been since Giving Tuesday kind of was founded. So I encourage you right now, if you hear the work that Christy is doing and her team, amazing work for people, because now this is settled doesn't mean those kind of fights don't come in each and every day. Every day we're going through the intake, legal intake. If you go to aclj.org/help, you fill out a form, a very simple form. If it's within the scope of what we do here, you get assigned to an attorney for absolutely free for you. But someone does have to pay those attorneys. Someone does have to pay for that travel. And thankfully, there are thousands of people like you who are watching this or listening to this today who either decided to become an ACLJ champion, that's someone that gives on a monthly level, or someone that can make a big 1 year or one time a year single donation. We are built on the backbone of people giving $50, $70, $40. So don't think if you give that your impact is not doing anything. All donations are doubled right now. Whatever you can give, there is an ACLJ champion. There's a fund there that's ready to be unlocked right now. Because as I said, it is not just the occasion where one is complete. Like I said, it is hard for us sometimes to fundraise on victories, but understand that a victory means that also frees up these lawyers to spend more time on the next one. And that next one is probably coming today, because that's just how it works, especially around Christmas time. And we know this. I know it feels like it's old news, the sort of quote unquote war on Christmas, but you are shocked at how many things we get, how many legal queries we get every year from people who want to put up a nativity scene, who want to sing "Oh Holy Night" at their event and are getting told no. And we're going to be there for them as well and take care of that. And maybe that's you. And if it is, go to our website right now,